Hey guys, welcome back to We Met at Acme. I'm so excited, probably my most excited yet to be here with Sophia Franklin. Hey girl.
Hi everybody. Finally, we're here.
Finally, I'm so excited about this. I feel like it's been like I told my listeners and followers that we were going to do this and they bugged out, and ever since then they've been like, where the fuck is the Sophia podcast?
I'm here. Here we are.
Here we are, finally. I'm so excited. So we've got a lot of questions, but for people who live under a rock for some reason and don't know who you are, Sophia, how old are you and where are you from?
I'm 20 years old. I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. I was based in New York for the last, 3 to 4 years. But right now I'm back home just because of COVID and some other things that happened.
Yeah.
Yes. And I used to be the former co-host of Call Her Daddy. And now I have my new show, Sophia with an F.
Which I'm loving, by the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I recently listened to the episode with your mom and I was like, what a boss bitch. Like, just
right?
Love her. Love her.
Yeah. And we're very close in age. My mom had me when she was 20. So we kind of have like that best friend relationship and the mom-daughter thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing. I actually meant to ask you. So we're into astrology on the podcast, as I feel like you know, because when the whole like Call Her Daddy thing blew up, I was like, I need to know these girls' signs. And that's when I found out that you are Cancer.
Yes.
When is your mom's birthday?
Her birthday is tomorrow, January 12th.
Oh, so she's a Capricorn. So you guys like really do balance each other out. You're opposites.
I guess so. I don't know that much about astrology, and I want you to tell me. I want you to teach me.
Well, everyone was like, you have to do an analysis of Sophia's entire chart. So I kind of want to.
Please.
Do you know the time you were born?
I have it on my phone.
Okay, yeah, look it up. Do you have any apps?
Yes. Okay, so I have CoStar.
Okay, yeah. So that will tell us what your rising and moon sign. So just like read us your CoStar.
Okay. I know that my rising is Scorpio.
That makes a lot of sense.
Ooh.
Scorpio rising have like sexual energy and come off very intense.
Oh.
Like people are drawn to them.
Yes, I know they're very sexual. I've actually talked about this on my show. One of my ex-boyfriends told me I was doing one of those things where I was pushing him, being like, what's the best sex you've ever had? Like, that type of thing, which I don't do anymore. That was when I was younger. And he said, honestly, the best sex I've ever had has always been with Scorpios. That's what he told me. And I found that very interesting.
I would also
so I'm not a true right? No, I was more like, no, my rising sign is Scorpio.
Right. So right. And your moon sign?
Let's see here. Sun in Cancer, moon in Aries.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So you have like a lot of fire and like intensity around you, which is really interesting.
Really? Like, that is very interesting.
But so an Aries moon are usually like, they're quick to react to things, but they are like very childlike at heart. Like they actually don't mean like ill will on anyone. They just like get misinterpreted a lot, which is interesting.
The childlike thing stands out to me for sure.
Yeah.
And so I have that, and then the Scorpio, that's my rising. I have like a sexual energy type thing. And then what about being a Cancer? I am on the cusp. I
was going to ask, when's your actual birthday?
July 20th.
Oh, that's so interesting. So you're like a Cancer Leo cusp.
That's the cusp, right?
Yes, but I was told that cusps are bullshit, and that if you're like at the end, if you think you're a cusp, you're just more of the sign that you are on the cusp of. So it just means you're more of a Cancer.
Oh, okay, got it. That makes sense. That's really interesting. You heard it's all bullshit because I've like based my stuff off of that. No, Cancer
I did.
Qualities, Leo qualities.
I just looked up someone recently and they had your same birthday. I have to remember who it was. I'll remember by the end of the podcast.
Beautiful.
Okay, so we just need to like. I have so many questions for you. So what is your current?
Let's dive in.
What is your current relationship status?
I am in a relationship. I'm in a very serious relationship.
Mhm.
I would love to tell everyone, you know, who, but I'm just a little bit hesitant because of everything that happened, as you know.
Right.
And I'm not sure if your listeners know. Maybe I should give them some background. I was part of a very public dispute,
Hmm.
and you know, a lot of that was directed at me, but a lot of people were collateral damage as well, including my boyfriend at the time.
Hmm.
And so, you know, I'm just treading lightly when it comes to talking about my relationship. I absolutely will, but I just, you know, that just happened 6 months ago.
Right.
So I'm a little bit hesitant to, you know, to drop a name and all of those things right
Right.
now. But I am in a relationship.
Okay, but it's not with. So I mean, the only reason I know his name is because of the drama, but it's not with this guy Peter Nelson, aka Superman.
No comment.
But
No comment.
but you did reference that being like your past relationship, so it's not your current.
I see, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
That is a question I've been telling my listeners for months now that I'm going to disclose that info. I don't even want to say if I'm with him or if I'm not because of how much media attention and ridicule he got from my past employer. And I'm kind of just hesitant because it's like the second I say if I am or I'm not,
Right.
I don't know what my, you know, past employer is going to do or say. So
Right.
I'd rather not. You know what I mean?
I do. I feel like, but you're living at home right now in Utah, you
Yes.
said. So
Yes.
how is it being in a serious relationship with whoever it is, whether it's quote unquote
Yes.
Superman or a new person? Like, do they live with your parents right now and you?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, they do.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
So my mom, it's a pretty big house. We just it's me and him in the basement. Then my mom is here, and then my 17-year-old brother. And I say it's a big house because I already feel claustrophobic. I feel like I'm like running away from everyone in the house, you know, like locking myself in different rooms and stuff because
Yeah.
it's hard during quarantine. And living with your mom and your little brother and your boyfriend,
It's
I'm
insane.
either with my mom or I'm with my boyfriend. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I rarely have a second to myself.
Yeah,
Thank God we're not in a New York apartment.
Thank
'Cause
fucking
then I
God.
would really, then I would really fucking Gypsy Rose. I
That would
always make that joke about my mom.
Wait, is that the one who faked all those illnesses?
Her mom had what is
Yes.
it? Something by
Munchausen.
proxy. Yes.
Yeah,
Munchausen
yeah,
by
yeah.
proxy. Yes. So I always make that joke. It's probably a bad joke, but I would go.
No,
I would
that's
go
really
crazy.
funny. I love the
Yes.
reference. Okay, so you're living with your boyfriend in a basement right now. Holy shit. How have you managed to like keep him out of your Instagram, like out of social media? Like you literally locked him in a basement, it seems.
Right. I mean, do you mean in terms of like looking at my social media or
No, like
what do
just
you
like you haven't posted him. Like obviously you're posting still, but like
Right.
he's been like totally MIA.
Right. You know, I just make sure to avoid it. And I don't know. It's actually pretty easy. He's also not on social media whatsoever, which I love, by the way, to have that quality in a boyfriend.
Yeah, same.
Wait, you're currently in a relationship, right?
Yeah, and he's not on social media either. It's the best.
Isn't it the best?
Ever. It is the best.
It's the fucking best.
It's the best.
I just make sure to not, you know, film stuff around him. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
But when you said that you are in a really serious relationship,
Mhm.
so what is a really serious relationship to you?
You know, this is the first relationship I've been in that I feel has been serious.
Mhm.
And I think a serious relationship is one where you see a future with them.
Yeah.
because every relationship I had before, I never really saw a future. I kind of thought to myself, I was kind of in denial, like, oh my gosh, yeah, one day we'll, be together seriously, or husband and wife, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But this is someone I genuinely could see me spending forever with, or a long time with, which I also have a little bit of a cynical view about that too. I think relationships expire.
Like, so you think that so someone actually came on the podcast once and they said something like every 10 years you should have a check-in with your partner. Like, do we still want to be together? Is that what you mean by that?
I do. You know what? I do. I think, in my heart of hearts, I love the idea of it's you and me for the rest of our lives.
Right.
But I just think that people can change and evolve. And I think it is good to kind of have a check-in.
I think
every
that's
10
fair.
years. I've heard the 7
Yeah.
years thing.
I think 7, for some reason, 7 years I associate with hair. Like, apparently your hair grows new every 7 years or something. So maybe like your relationship should too.
Right. That totally makes sense. Maybe that's where the correlation came from.
Definitely. But how long have you been dating said person? Are we allowed to say?
No, we're not allowed to say.
Oh, but you almost did.
I know. You should be a journalist. You're about to trip me up every corner.
Wait, okay. So let's talk about, obviously when you were going through this stuff with your former co-host, you were in a relationship and she was not.
Yes.
And you were best friends at the time. So I feel like it inevitably leads to like an imbalance in the friendship, whether one person wants to admit it or not. Like, there is jealousy. Do you agree?
You know what? I don't. I think it depends, because I have a lot of best friends and that has never been an issue.
Right.
I think what was different about this friendship, and maybe why that started to happen, is we were best friends, we lived together, and we worked together.
Yeah, that's too much.
So it was 24/7 around the clock, me and her. So then when a boyfriend was introduced, the balance was just completely, it was just completely unbalanced at that point.
Right.
But, I have best friends that live in different states and, whatever else. And I've never felt like a jealousy type thing. It's more like they're having an issue with their boyfriend, they come over for a wine night or whatever.
Right. I guess I didn't mean jealous as much as I meant like a healthy jealousy. Like, for example, like when I was in a relationship and my best friend wasn't, she would be like, oh, like I really want to find what you guys have, but not like in a way that's like, oh, I hate you for having it.
Okay. That's a really good clarification, because I think my former co-host, it was more of like a hatred, jealousy type thing. I now totally get what you're saying. Yeah, you know what? I do think there is a little bit of that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even felt it with some of my friends when you're single and they have someone to go home to at night. Yeah, I think there is.
Right. And it's
I
just
never
like,
thought about it.
It's kind of like never wanting to like leave the party because like you have nowhere to go. Whereas like your friends like excited to like quote unquote leave the party because they do have somewhere to go and someone to be with.
Right. Exactly.
Do you think that Alex, who's your former co-host name, so I've heard that she has a boyfriend now, and this is so funny. I have a friend who went on a date with her now boyfriend, like right before they started dating. I know that like she doesn't publicize who the boyfriend is, so I'm not gonna like out this person, but she has a boyfriend now, or I don't know if they're still together as of today, but let's see. Do you think that now that she's in a relationship, she has a little bit more perspective on like your kind of fight or like what happened with you guys? Or do you think that she's still kind of stuck in her ways about what happened?
I'm going to, I don't want to speak for her, but I'm going to go ahead and say stuck in her ways. I think that me being in a relationship was a huge factor, but I think it runs a lot deeper than that. So with that said, I think, you know, her being in a relationship doesn't really change how she views what happened at all.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think I
Yeah.
know the answer already, but like, you guys don't talk today.
No, not at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm. And
No.
do you talk ever, or has your former boss reached out to you?
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
When you started Sophia with an F, did you get any, like, did anyone surprising who you didn't expect reach out to you?
Actually, yeah. So, you know, when I started Sophia with an F, did my boss reach out to me directly? Absolutely not. Did he go on his uh various platforms to talk shit about it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I had, you know, actually surprisingly quite a few people reach out from that company to me to just wish me congratulations, and you know, they kind of had like a falling out as well of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It's so crazy. So basically, like, I just realized that we haven't really said what the drama was exactly, but if you don't know, I mean, that's on you. But essentially, it was like you guys, or you, because your
Mhm.
former co host didn't realize, like, realizing that you were not being valued enough, especially as women who are in an industry, especially like at Barstool, where they are so disrespectful to women to begin with,
Right.
and they were underpaying the shit out of you guys when you were the entire like reason that anyone cared about them at that moment.
Right.
And your and Alex basically was like, no, like, don't ruffle any feathers. And you were like, what do you mean? You have to, we deserve this. And like, that's essentially more or less what it was.
Yes.
Do you feel like now, you know, having gone through that, you have like seen a real like divide between women and men and how they're treated in not just like the podcast industry and like at Barstool, but in general when it comes to like getting paid and getting what they deserve?
Yeah. Um, Absolutely. I didn't realize how much internalized misogyny there
Mm,
is.
yeah.
And when I started this show and I'm making what I'm making and I'm being paid beyond fairly, I realized just for myself, I spent, you know, I think it was 2 years
Hmm.
having thinking that like what I was getting paid was fair. And then obviously over those last few months is when I realized I wasn't. I think also the fact that me and my co-host were completely on the same page when it came to leaving that company. We had both decided we were being completely underpaid, etc. And it wasn't until, you know, the very last few weeks that she kind of caved after having one conversation with our boss.
Yeah.
And to me, it just showed how much internalized misogyny she has. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Yeah, like she didn't think that she even deserved more.
Right. Right. And I mean, but she did for months, you
Right.
know?
And then she was like too scared to actually, when like push came to shove, she was too scared to actually stand up to probably the most misogynist guy that there
Right.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was one meeting and everything we had been planning for, I don't know, 8 months, there was a switch that went off. And she just completely was like, you know, he's like offering this and this and this. And I'm like, he's offering essentially the same thing he was 8 months ago.
Do you think that she now has any regrets? Like, you know this person more than anyone else. Like, I know she's a Leo. I know she has a lot of pride, so it'd probably be hard for her to admit that she had any regrets. But do you think she does?
Mm-hmm. No,
Mm.
not at all. I don't
Because
think
she's
so at
just
all.
happy that it's all about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so. You know, I've talked about this on my show, Sophia and F. There was a third person who worked on that show, and made it extremely successful. And he was one of her closest friends.
Mhm.
and I watched her kick him to the curb over something very small.
Is this the guy MILF Hunter?
Yes, and we now refer to him as Ghost Rider. I just did an episode with him last week.
Yeah.
When I saw that happen, I kind of knew I was next in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but I was a little bit in denial because I was still like, this is my best friend, etc. But I think it was a matter of time before I was kicked to the curb in some way.
What do you
And
think? Yeah.
sorry, and she had like a secret relationship with our former boss and stuff, which I didn't find out until later.
Oh, they were fucking?
I don't know about to that extent, but
Uh-huh.
she was getting paid more than me, which I didn't know.
Yeah. I heard
They
about
would have
that.
like private conversations and meetings that
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about.
It's very sus.
Yeah, very sus. And then, I for a long time felt stupid because I was like, how did I not know that? How did I not see that? But I guess I'm just an extremely loyal person. And once, you're one of my best friends and you've met my mom and I've integrated you into my family, like I don't question.
Right. And then there are people who are like, well, like people who are anti Sophia and pro Alex, which like obviously,
There's a lot of them.
will say like, oh, but Alex was doing all the work. Like, this is what I feel. I feel like you can compare it to a relationship. Like if you're in a relationship with someone, a romantic relationship, and you feel like they aren't doing something, but you don't tell them that you feel that you want them to do that thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just like break up with them or whatever, then you're the one sabotaging your own relationship.
Right.
If you communicate, like if it really upset her that she was doing some editing or whatever she was doing,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And she communicated to you like, hey, I feel like I do a lot of the work. Is there any way you can step in and do X, Y, and Z? Then at least have given you the opportunity to be like, yeah, I would actually love to like do whatever I can to make you feel better about this,
So, you know what? This is going to sound really crazy. We did have those conversations
Yeah.
because she was doing the editing. And even though I was, helping in every way I could, I don't know how to edit. And I had proposed on multiple occasions, 10, 20 times. Hey, I've sat next to you. I've seen, how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I really think I could pick up a couple courses, learn how to do the editing, and so there can be some balance here. And she always turned me down. And I think that that's something really interesting to think about. I think she kind of wanted an imbalance when it
She
came
wanted to
to the
be the
show.
one in power. It's like if you had been like, I really want to go to therapy and work on this relationship, and she was like, no, it's good, don't go to
Yes,
therapy.
exactly. So I think that's, just kind of a crazy thing that I didn't realize until later because I offered, to do that multiple times.
Yeah. So now that you guys are like, technically feuding, you are getting like from both sides, you guys are getting negative comments from like, Team Alex and Team Sophia and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you respond, if anything, or like how do you react to negative comments or negative reviews?
So first of all, the company I was working for, as we know, the toxic masculinity there and the misogyny there is just outrageous.
Right.
I remember my first month working there, I was getting tens of comments a day. I want to slit your vagina open. You deserve to be raped. You have a punch card at the local abortion clinic.
Oh my
which
God.
is like funny but fucked up. But I mean, none of those things are funny. I'm laughing because it's like so insane.
Yeah.
So, there was that aspect of it. And then when this public smear campaign happened and I was receiving thousands, hundreds to thousands of comments and DMs a day, kill yourself, etc., I kind of garnered this immunity to it. It kind of, for the most part, it just goes right over my head. I even sometimes laugh about it. I did an episode where these people left in voicemails. And this girl left in a voicemail that was like, I fucking hate you. You're a waste of space. And I played it on my episode and I laughed because it was funny to me, you know?
Right.
Because I have a dark sense of humor, but I think I've garnered some immunity. I would be lying if I said there are days where I feel like I'm not doing enough or I'm not good enough, that it does kind of get to me.
Yeah.
You know, and when that happens, I just talk to people close to me and just kind of let them know how I feel. But for the most part, I would say, you know, when you've had such an extreme of it, a few comments here and there are not going to affect you as much. I mean, do you receive negative comments?
Yeah, I definitely do. I let them affect me because like I'm just shadily so sensitive and I try to not, but it's like I just don't understand how people are so unwell that they like take the time to do it. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
what like freaks me out the most. I'm like, wow, this person has so much hate in their heart that they went out of their way to like leave a 1-star review on like my livelihood. Like I would never do that.
Right.
If I went to a restaurant and it sucked, like I would privately email them or like the manager and be like, hey, I had a weird experience, blah, blah. I wouldn't like go on Yelp and blow up their business. Like that's psychotic.
It is. And that's so funny you bring up the 1-star review, you know, not to make it about me, but before I had released an episode for the new show, Sophia with an F.
Yeah.
Before I had even released an episode, I believe I had around 30 to 40,000 reviews, a lot of which were 1-star without people even listening to the show.
Right.
And I've been like battling that, you know, type of thing. But I also think it depends on what the person says. If someone leaves a comment like, you're a fat, ugly bitch, or you're a slut, or you're a whore, those don't affect me at all. I think it's when it's comments about my work or I love how I'm just like feeding it to people. Like, everyone here, this is how you
write a negative comment to me.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it also depends on what the person says. Would you agree?
I agree. I think if they're like 1-star, there's not enough diversity here, then I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to correct that. But if they're like 1-star, her voice sounds like she smokes a lot of weed, like fuck off, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
Like that's the worst. So I remember when Call Her Daddy like first came out, we met at Acme and there wasn't like, I was very shook by the fact that you guys were just like out there saying crazy shit because like I had even gotten shit for things that I talked about, which were nowhere near close to like talking about how to give a blowjob and whatever.
Right.
And I remember like, it's not that I was a hater, but I was like, I really don't like this message that these girls are sending of like, wow, I love when guys like come in my face. And like, I felt like these were things that like you guys at the time were saying to make your male listeners, which was the target like demographic, excited that like, oh my God, girls like do like to come like when we come on their face, and girls like do like to like give us head for 3 hours, and girls like do like, you know, and I was like, that's not like girl code, because that's not the truth. Like, and so I guess like looking back, did you feel like you were being your authentic self on Call Her Daddy, or were you playing up like this role for like the Barstool guys knowing what they'd be into?
Right. So, I mean, the target demo it was for men and women. Obviously, we had more women that would listen. I think a lot of that came from the internalized misogyny on one side and the fact that Ghostwriter, aka MILF Hunter, was helping with a lot of the material.
Right.
And I think, you know, in a weird way, and people will absolutely disagree, you'll probably disagree, I felt that kind of teaching girls who felt totally lost about how to satisfy a guy or what they like, in a weird way, I felt as if I was helping them. Now that I'm older, would I ever say those things ever again? No. So was I playing in character? Yes and no. I was
Mhm.
also at that time in a super toxic relationship. Um, and so, I mean, I guess it was both. It was kind of me. And then it was also, yeah, we would do the shock value thing.
Right.
Absolutely. For sure.
But
For sure.
I have to ask just like point blank. And
Hmm.
no like no judgment if the answer is yes, but like do you like when a guy comes on your face?
I think it can be hot. I
Interesting.
do. I do.
Okay.
Do you not like it at all?
No, I've actually never let a guy come on my face. And like I'm not like as vanilla as I'm coming across right now. Like I actually
Right.
do really like I have kinks, like whatever, but
Hmm.
that's the one thing where I'm like also like skincare routine comes first type of vibe, you know?
Right, right.
But I've just never like out of all the places to come, and like I'm so sorry to my parents who are probably listening. Um, like
My
my
parents gave up
face
on me a while ago.
my face is like the last place that I would be like, yeah, this is the place, you know? Like
Yeah,
my boobs, my ass, inside me, like any my stomach, anywhere first, and then my face would be the last resort.
right. I think that sometimes I think that was a sex kink for me for a while. There was
Yeah.
kind of the getting demeaned type of thing. And I also thought it was fun to just try everything and wild, crazy stuff.
Right.
And I thought it was fun to make the guy think to himself, holy shit, who is this girl? Now that I'm 28, I'm saying like I do like if a guy does that. I can't really remember the last time I had a guy come on my face, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it can be hot though.
It's
I
interesting.
do.
I feel like we just talked about this like in my real life conversations because I had done this poll question and I was like, if you sleep with someone for the first time and they like blow your mind, like they are so talented, you know, and really good at sex, like it either goes one or two ways. Like you're either like, oh my God, that's my wife, right? Or like, that's my husband. Or you're like, why the fuck do they
She's
know?
a slut.
Right. Not even she's a slut, but like, or if it's for a guy, it's like, why, like, how many girls has he done this to, you know?
Right, right.
And it's just so interesting. But I feel like for the most part, it goes like, it's like, that's my wife, that's my husband. Cause like, why would you not
Me
be down for
too.
someone who's really talented?
Me too. You know what? That's funny. I've never made that correlation. I've never thought to myself, oh my God, he has been with so many girls. Um, that's, yeah, I've never thought about that. And I would think more the husband route for sure. I think especially there's the whole thing about, I mean, at least I'm just talking about myself. You can be in a relationship because I would consider myself a serial monogamist. I really
Yeah,
would.
me too.
You are.
Fully.
Yeah. Um, you can be with someone for 3, 4 years and try everything in the book and, really learn someone's body and be good at sex. It
Right.
doesn't necessarily mean you've been with a ton of people, which
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with sleeping with a lot of people, by the way.
No,
But
not at all.
yeah.
Do you share your like body count with your partners or not so much?
Um, not really.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
think
I've
it's
made
necessary.
I think, oh, you don't at all.
No, it's like none of their business.
I think it depends on where you're coming from,
Mm,
because I know that there are women and especially men as well that ask the question and it's going to upset them, right? Or make them feel better if it's a low number. For me, it's just an interesting anecdote type of thing that I would like to know about someone.
yeah,
If they don't feel comfortable telling me, I won't push it. But if they do tell me, it doesn't bother me either which way.
yeah.
But I do think people put way too much emphasis on it. It's really crazy. Like it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I
It
mean, also
doesn't.
people will lie. Like if you like put a gun to their head.
Exactly. Exactly.
We talk all the time on the podcast about like rules when it comes to dating, and like I have a few rules, and a lot of people wrote in that they want to hear your opinion on my rules. Um,
Okay.
so this is more for like first dates and stuff, but like before you become official with someone, But I say like no more than 2 drinks on a first date, just because like you want to kind of like be in the right state of mind, like knowing if you're actually liking this person or if you're just drunk. So agree or disagree?
You know, I would say disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I would say disagree. I think, I mean, there you can have a second date and then just do the 2 drinks. Like, I think there can be multiple dates. I mean, what's your reasoning for that? I know you just said it, but can you explain a
No,
little
just
bit?
because I feel like you don't want to get sloppy. I think it depends, right? Like so I'm sober, but if I had 2 drinks on a date, like I'd be blacked out because I drink tequila on the
Okay.
rocks when I used to drink. So
And
I
how
guess
long have
it's
you been
like
sober? I'm sorry, I'm so interested in
no,
this
no,
because
no,
I
like
really
2.5 years.
okay, because I am thinking I tried to do dry January.
Mm,
That already became a thing, but I've
yeah.
been thinking about trying that. I mean, has it like completely changed your life?
Completely changed my life. Like it is the best thing that ever
Really?
happened to me. I'm telling you, like if you can try it. I mean, I don't know what the reasoning behind your like sober
Uh-huh.
curiosity is, but for me, I was just like an all or nothing type of person.
Right. That's that's super interesting. Maybe we can talk about it more off air. But
Yeah.
anyways, back to what you were saying.
No, so I just think like no more than 2 drinks because like if especially if you're a lightweight, like no one likes a sloppy person on a first date or second date.
Yeah. I I mean, you know what? To me, I'm kind of just more like if you want to be fucking sloppy, then be sloppy. If that's what you want to do. If you want to get shit faced with the guy, like that's your prerogative. That's kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, but
So
then like
that rule I don't
yeah.
agree with.
Okay, fair. The second rule is don't sleep with them on a first date. I'm scared for what you're gonna say.
I'm kidding. Uh I disagree with that too.
Okay.
I would love to hear why, first of all.
Well, I think for me it's like don't have sex with them on the first date if you want it to go somewhere. Like if that's your goal for to make them your boyfriend or whatever, don't have sex on a first date because for the most important reason behind this is because like the buildup is so fucking hot. So like why take that away and
That's
just do it right away?
okay, that's actually see, that is like reasoning behind it that I've never heard because the buildup can be extremely hot. I uh my past relationship, I slept with him on the second date, and the one before that, it was the first date.
Yeah.
So I disagree on that. I think, I think again, we're adults, and I think if you want to, go for it, personally.
Okay. But then like if
It's
you
good to
do
disagree.
I agree. And I love a disagreement. But I just think
Mhm.
like if you're sleeping with someone on the first date every time and it's not going your way, then like maybe you need to change it up.
That's true. Actually, you know what? That I totally agree with. Yes.
And the last one is I say don't send a thank you text after a date because you already thanked them on the date and it's just like a little too much.
No, absolutely fucking not. And you know what? But also, this is probably my internalized misogyny again,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I'm working on, and
Uh-huh.
everyone can check me. I just kind of feel like there's this societal imbalance still, and I just think the guy needs to reach out first.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. So we agree.
Yeah, no, we agree. Yeah, and
Oh,
then
amazing. We have a
there
rule
we
we agree
go.
on.
1 for 3.
Look at us. Okay. Do you still stand by the statement you made on Call Her Daddy? Cheat or be cheated on? Meaning like you need to cheat or you're going to be cheated
No,
on.
oh, trust me, that was something I came up with, so I know it. I know it well. Your list, like, who the fuck is this bitch on this show? Cheat or be cheated on. So first of all, it's a joke for the most part. Are there some truths to it? Yes. When I was saying that, I was in a relationship where every boyfriend I had ended up cheating in some capacity.
Mhm.
And I had a really negative outlook on men. I also I actually don't have a relationship at all with my father. So I think it kind of stems from that as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, I don't hate men at all. But in that moment in time, I was working at, my former employer, Barstool Sports, where
Right.
the like company is fucking insane, as we just talked about. And so that at that point I meant it. And it was almost kind of this like, there's so much misogyny and the patriarchy and all of these things. It was almost my way of reclaiming my power in a sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you are not the only people that are out here cheating and treating people like shit. Women are going to be doing it too, type of thing.
Yeah. And like maybe a way to like scare men.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Now that I've been in a healthy relationship, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But
Yeah.
I had cheated in every relationship before. So
After you were cheated on, or just like to prevent them being the person?
both,
Yeah.
both, both.
Yeah.
I lived by the cheater be cheated on in, one or two relationships for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure you had to talk yourself out of that one when you got into your healthy relationship.
Oh my God. It took, this guy had to convince me that he was a good guy for a year before I believed him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. So on that same note, what's your dream relationship? Is it the one you're in now?
It is.
That's
It
really cute.
is. It's it's the relationship where you are not riddled with insecurity every day, scared of what they're doing, stressed all the time if they don't answer their phone. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think those are so huge.
Can you share your partner's sign?
No.
Okay.
I know my listeners are like, within 2 seconds, they're gonna.
I feel like I, based on you not sharing their sign, I know what it
Okay.
means.
Okay.
Are you okay? Two more questions, and then we're gonna get into some rapid fire poll questions.
Okay.
Are you planning to go back to New York?
Absolutely. Yes. I just created my company here. I built a studio in my mom's basement, which, by the way, how ugly is my background? And yours is so cute. I need to fix that shit.
Mine's not my apartment though.
I
It's a
added
random
a vase.
Airbnb.
No. I added a vase with flowers though for your
Yeah, it is.
podcast.
I like the vase. Would you be friends with Alex again if she apologized and wanted to reconnect?
Ooh. I'm a firm believer that, walking around with hatred for someone just poisons you. So I've let that go. But after what happened, loyalty means everything to me. And my relationships that I had, my close relationships from childhood, whatever, are so important.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So many people are asking this, and I'm sure you've answered it before, but do you have a workout routine? Because people obviously think you look amazing.
Thank you. I don't at all.
Just a lot of sex.
I guess so. Yes, I would love to say that. I think oh my God. And I don't want to say my genes because it's not it. I've been so busy that there are days that I go without eating. So I'm skinny fat. I'm definitely not toned. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't have a workout routine, and that's something I really want to work on.
Mm-hmm. What's something that you learned from your past relationships? I feel like we kind of talked about this already, but if there's anything that you didn't say.
If your relationship is making you question yourself constantly, making you feel bad about yourself constantly, affecting your other relationships, affecting how you're performing at work, that is not a relationship that you should be in. And, you might sit there and tell yourself, like, we're just having issues right now. I know now in this current relationship, I have never had a day where I have felt any of those feelings.
Yep. Okay, rapid fire poll question time. Some of these are really dumb. It's really just yes or no. Okay. Do you feel pressured to go to sleep at the same time as your partner, whether or not you are tired? Yes or
No. Fuck, I like want to elaborate, but nope, no.
no? True or false? When you're with the right person, you're not even attracted to anyone else. True or false?
False.
I agree. Do you put on lipstick before you go out, even if you're not going to take your mask off at designation?
I rarely wear makeup. I put on makeup for you, so false.
It looks really good.
Thank you.
If you live with your significant other, do you know how much money they have in the bank and debt, etc.?
Yes.
I agree. It's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Can it work if one person's a big spender and the other is a saver? Yes or no?
Ooh, I guess I would have to say yes.
Should your significant other be your best friend? Yes or no?
Yes.
Would you buy a house with your partner of 6 years before marriage?
Yes.
If your partner wants a small wedding and you want a big wedding, can it work?
Yes.
How often are you orgasming during sex? Every time / every other time or less frequently?
Almost every time, but not
Amazing.
every single time.
This was so much fun. Do you have
It
a
was.
quote or piece of advice that you could leave our listeners with that has helped you throughout the last crazy year or maybe throughout your whole life?
Ooh, quote? I don't think I can think of one off the. Someone sent me one literally yesterday that I made my background. How about that? Can I read that for you?
Yes.
Because I loved it. It's by Maman Jensen. I'm not sure who that is. Uneducated biatch. I'm so embarrassed. Life is an ever rolling wheel, and every day is the right one.
I love that. Like
Right?
every day is the right part of the wheel.
Yes. Right. There's
Amazing.
even if you have the shittiest, most horrible day and you feel like a piece of shit, it's the right one.
I love it. Sophia, where can everyone find you and follow you and listen to Sophia with an F?
Yeah, Sophia. So the podcast is Sophia with an F. I'll obviously spell SOFIA. You can find me on Twitter. I just made a TikTok. We'll see how that goes. Instagram, Snapchat, Sophia Franklin. It's Sophia with an F and then Franklin with a Y.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was so much fun. I loved it.